So to preface this video, it's basically Adam Soos going to a climate protest of some kind, days after what happened with David Suzuki. Now, they're going to get to it in this video, but I guess David Suzuki said that since politicians are not moving towards fixing the climate, inevitably there's going to be pipelines that get sabotaged and blown up. They're going to play the clip, and David Suzuki can say it in his own words. But what doesn't happen in this clip is we now know in the present that David Suzuki has apologized and walked back those claims. And I think it's rather stupid because when Vienna initially told me, I thought he was a little bit more direct. But when you listen to the statement itself, it's pretty much just a statement of fact, which is rather benign, which is that by not addressing this real severe issue, there will be backlash because we're not addressing it, which is just a factual statement. I mean, not only is it factual in terms of what will come inevitably, it's factual in that it's already happening. It's already happening. Maybe not the pipeline part of it, but like environmental groups that sabotage things already exist and already sabotage things. So it's like, I don't know why you have to apologize for just actually saying what is true. And yes, Eric, yeah. I too am disappointed that he apologized for it. But yes, leave it to Rebel to like freak out about it. Now, there's more other Rebel clips where they talked about it. It's not that important to go over, but like in this one, they address it slightly. But it's mostly Adam's Soos walking around this climate protest, and some funny things happen. So let's just enjoy it. Let's enjoy it for what it is.
Please tell me it's eggs.
Eggs? I wish it was eggs. My God.
Oh,
I do. I think it involves someone telling him he sucks at his jobs.
I could agree to that.
Yeah.
Adam Soos here for Rebel News, and we are at the TC Energy offices here in Calgary where a protest is taking place. For those who don't know, TC Energy owns the Coastal GasLink pipeline, which has come under controversy with some protests. You've likely heard of them as the Wet'suwet'en protests. Now, this is a bit of a contentious issue because there is some divisions. Ultimately, 5 out of 6 elected Indigenous councils have endorsed this plan in Wet'suwet'en land. So they have endorsed this pipeline.
So I've brought this up many times in our stream, and most people probably know what they're talking about. But the reason why this is a bullshit talking point is that the ban cancel system that he is referring to is imposed on the Indigenous communities by the Indian Act of Canada. And most of these Indigenous communities have varying degrees to which they endorse or accept. Like what I'm getting at is they're not homogenous communities. So some people like the ban cancels, others like the hereditary chief system, which is the idea that we're going to adhere to the standards that were not imposed on us by the government of Canada while we remain on our unceded territories. Now, they don't go into that further detail because, again, to go to that degree of detail would expose the fact that they are completely full of shit, right? But when you say, hey, 5 to 6 Indigenous councils approve of the pipeline, that sounds good. And then you might ask, why do these Indigenous communities support these things? These councils realize, and because there's not even necessarily an antagonism between the Indigenous communities and the councils. People are aware that these councils are put in a pretty shitty position where they're like, we need government funding to help support our communities. And the only way that we can get this is through agreeing to the terms of these pipeline companies and the government. And so they're put in this really shitty position and they take these things. But of course, that doesn't mean that the other people that live on the unceded territories off the reservations that don't want a pipeline going through their land, that somehow we can just ignore that. But of course, they don't get into any of that detail. And of course, I shouldn't be the I am not an expert on this. I've done this through like my own reading, and I would recommend seeking out other more left-leaning indigenous sources that are better at expressing what I just expressed. But I think I got the basic sort of like points correct there. Unless Vienno, you think there's any more to it, but yeah.
I'll be honest, I kind of zoned out. I'm hungry and just like thinking about food.
Jeez.
I respect your honesty.
Most of what I heard sounded good. I didn't hear it, but this part I could have tuned out. But like the hereditary, like the band council chiefs do have like some jurisdiction, and that is over specifically like the kind of municipalities or like the small like, you know, towns or villages or whatever they are that like the indigenous people live on, versus the hereditary chiefs, which have jurisdiction over the entire territory itself. So like the band councils don't even have jurisdiction over the land that the pipeline is crossing, regardless of if they agreed or not. That's like straight up out of their legal jurisdiction from every legal perspective involved. And this is something that Canadian law acknowledges, and of course traditional Wet'suwet'en law. So
I think I mentioned a piece of that, but I think you clarified it a lot more, so that's good. And Hildebeest just ate a poutine in case you needed food ideas.
Okay, I'm gonna mute and go grab food.
Yeah.
Find a snack, whatever I have.
Do it.
Furthermore, in the entire course of the pipeline, the planned trajectory, 20 elected nations have endorsed the pipeline project as well. Hereditary chiefs, however, are claiming that these pipelines are a violation of their territory. Ultimately, the question remains as to whether those elected councils should be respected or not, and whether they should go with these hereditary claims that, frankly, don't quite have the same tenure or democratic air to them as the elected councils.
So notice the language here. For one, it misses the point that Vienno raised so elegantly, which is that they don't have the same jurisdiction, so it doesn't apply here. That and the courts have already ruled in favor of the hereditary chiefs, in at least saying that the territory is unceded. And other jurisdictions have argued like there's an injunction, but it comes from different aspects of the court. Anyways, that part of it is complicated and fucked up and a bunch of bullshit. But also notice how he's implying that somehow because it's democratic that they're better or something like this. But again, that is imposed on these communities and requires like weird race science in order for you to like vote for these band councils on the reserves where they govern. And none of that suggested that, like, I don't know, maybe indigenous people should decide how they want to be governed, rather than having a system forced upon them. But of course, he's just going to be like, the band councils are democratic, therefore better. Like, imagine, that's like, even just putting it in the context of any sort of colonial scheme where another group came in there and said, you need to form your governments in the way that we tell you to. How have people historically reacted to that?
Not well, usually.
Yeah. Waiting to hear the rebel talk about the 97 Supreme Court of Canada case. Dougal, yeah, I can't pronounce that, versus British Columbia. Which one is that, Eric? Just out of curiosity. I do like court facts. Supreme Court of Canada has already ruled hereditary chiefs trump elected chiefs. Yeah. Well, especially over their area, right?
Is a $6.6 billion pipeline project that is an economic boon for these communities, often one of the largest employers in these areas as well. So that I mean,
this is the other thing about pipelines that are so silly. Like, for one, like, you could say it's an economic boon. It's really not. The jobs that get created are mostly specialized workers that are particularly skilled at building this particular project. They're not going to be hiring from the local community. And they're very
brought in, yeah.
they're very temporary in that the pipeline will be built, and once it is built, so go the jobs, you know?
There'll only be like maintenance or anything repairs that
Which again,
do pop up.
specialized workers that
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's nothing really sourcing from local people.
that, and it ignores the fact that these pipelines leak. It is very common that they leak. A lot of rivers in these communities are already polluted by other pipelines and other various mining projects that have destroyed their waterways. So it's like,
Okay. Sorry.
no, you sounded like you had
On that
something
note
there.
of like polluted rivers and whatever. In this case, their whole thing is that their river has not been polluted at all. Like that was
which
one
is
of the things that
preserve it.
Skylar Williams talked about, like when they came down, was like the amazingness of like going to a river and just like being able to take a drink straight out of it and have it be like fresh and safe and like everything like that.
And don't they want the
Versus, like,
pipeline
us
to
in
go
Southern
under
Ontario, which is just fucking insane. I think it's next to it.
it? Okay.
And then the other thing that's like just straight up never talked about in this case is that the hereditary chiefs provided CGL with a pipeline route that they would approve of.
Yeah.
Like they gave them another option that was like, hey, this one works for us. Like it's further away from the river, it's less dangerous to like the surrounding environment, and we'll be fine with that. And Cedar was like, no, we're actually gonna just not do that.
Yeah.
And like that just never gets brought up in like talking about it either, is like, oh, they're just mean and don't want economic development. It's like, no, they just don't want to poison their water. Like,
Yep.
dumbasses.
The workers in the camps are also problematic. They have been called man camps. Yeah. Well, that's just you being a crazy feminist. So
Opportunity for the community when these pipelines are held up or when they are illegally blockaded by eco-terrorist style activity, it can severely detriment the communities adversely. So we're going to see how the day unfolds today. We're going to follow the protest as it carries on and bring you updates throughout the evening. There has been no lack of criticism lobbied towards the United Conservative Party here in Alberta, but Minister of Environment and Parks Jason Nixon actually had a very strong motion yesterday. I had an exclusive
strong.
interview
The motion was
with him
so
about it,
strong.
but he was calling for David Suzuki to apologize and for
Here
the
it comes.
NDP to recant
Oh my
their
God.
endorsement of illegal pipeline protests.
Fucking babies.
The NDP's endorsement of illegal pipeline protests. What? When I heard this, I was like, what the fuck is he talking about? The NDP hasn't endorsed illegal pipeline protests, or else I would be like, go NDP. And the only thing I can think of is like the youth portion or like caucus of the Alberta NDP voted in favor of the Wet'suwet'en and condemned the BC NDP. But that's not the NDP, that's the youth caucus of the Alberta NDP,
like,
you know?
The kids who have no sway.
Yeah. Jason Nixon is a shit weasel? I believe it. I believe that, Hildy. I mean, I don't even need to hear what Jason Nixon has to say. I can just stare into his face here. Look at he's got a face that says, I really like pipelines. You can tell.
Endorsement of illegal pipeline protests.
Deep doo-doo. And they've been telling us, the leading experts,
Oh, come on, you cut
for
that
over 40
back?
years. This is what we're come to. The next stage after this is they're going to be pipelines blown up if our leaders don't pay attention to what's going on.
The next stage after this
Oh my
is
God.
they're going to be
Context.
pipelines blown up.
Talking about it.
I mean, that is relatively benign, is it not?
Well, it's like, if you understand the history of like any like eco-terrorism like in the world, it's like whenever there's certain pressures that aren't listened to, or certain things aren't listened to, whether it's like environmental stuff or whatnot, it's like these groups, after being like not listened to for a relative, like most of them for valid reasons, it ends up to a point of like they end up breaking stuff.
Well, I mean,
Like it's kind of like the right wingers in the States. Like all these guys like Second Amendment ding dongs end up like bitching about stuff, and it's like they ended up like occupying the wildlife sanctuary. It's like after a certain amount of time of not being listened to, certain groups will follow through with what they've been saying to do.
there's precedent for
Oh.
this. Like there's ELF, the Earth Liberation
Oh, yeah.
Front, that like I believe that had more to do with trees, and they set fire to like logging company offices and stuff like this.
Yeah.
To
Oh, yeah.
protest
Yeah,
like
yeah,
deforestation and stuff like this. Like, so to argue that somehow like I don't know, David Suzuki was promoting it, it's like merely pointing to the fact that if you don't do anything,
Yeah.
these activists will get extreme because they realize that, I don't know, deforestation is a very important thing and devastating thing, and if like we continue to devastate the environment, they might, I don't know, reach a point where they do something. Just like Hyperloop, CGL will never be completed. True. Alberta government accused him of dog whistling after decades denying the existence of dog whistling.
Oh my god.
True. Very true. And yes, Dr. Voxel, Suzuki is based in this utterance. He has said other things in the past that annoy me, but I will say that statement was based, and the fact that he recanted and apologized is just fucking silly.
Yeah. Capitulation.
Rebellion.
Yeah.
And blowing up pipelines and dog whistles like this is inciting.
Yeah, dog
environmental
whistles.
terrorism.
Has
I will not
Extinction
stand for
Rebellion
these
blown
kind
up
of remarks or
pipelines in
comments on
Canada?
my country or my
Extinction Rebellion? I don't think Extinction Rebellion has blown up
it's-
pipelines yet.
Like I don't recall that. That's what I'm thinking. Like they've done. I don't necessarily think explosive stuff, but like the fire, like the I guess like arson stuff. I remember that.
I
Or
don't.
not
So-
EA. Sorry, I'm thinking
Yeah.
of not, like you said, ALF.
I was gonna say, like, I don't mind Extinction
ELF.
Rebellion. I find like a lot of these groups frustrating, and I was telling Vienno this the other day. Like, for example, I'll show this. Like,
province, Mr. Speaker, and I hope all members.
I feel like a lot of environmental activism tends towards like this kind of stuff here, where it's like, look at us putting on a show here. Oh, look at us,
Yeah,
we're a
like
bunch
these,
of
yeah, no, these
we're a
things
bunch
I
of
don't
head
really,
things.
Like I get why, but like
At least light the cigarette. Come on.
Oh, look at us. Oh, we're putting on a performance here. Oh, we're really sticking it to the man here. Look, I'm like channeling Andrew Chapados now, right? Like I imagine Catherine Kronowski or whatever her name is sitting there being like,
I'll play her role. It's like,
Yeah.
come on, they're doing something. It's part of the part. It's like they're showing their displeasure for what's happening.
it's been 100 years of environmental degradation and nothing has changed. We need to do more. We need to make demands. We need.
No, they got to show their message. And this is how they're showing their message.
Yeah.
They should show their message by burning it into every city.
Like no, but it would be amazing. So like I think they're outside of, what was it, BP? No, International Maritime. Okay, well, if it was BP, they should do this outside of BP and then light the match.
Yeah.
Eric said, I heard the communists blew up all the pipelines, cities full of pipelines.
Yeah.
Like, in chat told me.
Wait, Eric, was that whole cities? Whole cities? That's a nice pipeline you're building. Real shame if something were to happen to him. Oh my god.
Wait, pipelines, internet. Oh no.
Oh no, we're inciting degradation of pipelines. I love, like, how many times, like, fucking Republicans and conservatives or incite and dog whistle like violence constantly to like minorities and immigrants, and that's perfectly fine. But God forbid you say one fucking word that a pipeline might get hurt, and they start shitting their pants and begging for apologies. Like, this is the other funny part about this is like, what is the piece that we covered like last week of like, I talked about people being mad at like Democrats trying to censor Paul Gosar for his fascist video that he posted where Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez was killed, right? And like, other people being like, oh, why are they like making people apologize and try to feel bad for it? Like, why are they doing this? And then it's like when it comes to a pipeline, that's when the conservatives are like, how you need to apologize. You need to get down on your knees and tell that pipeline that it's lovely and kiss it and make sure that it feels okay about itself going forward. You shamed it so hard that you need to make it up to it. Make it up to the pipeline.
You need to apologize for logical like likelihood.
Yeah. I just hate it.
The chamber agreed.
Another interesting thing that we have noticed here today is that there are so many
What, like, was it? It's like we need to zoom in to see what the media is up
there
to.
are so many
What media brand is it?
Here, while there are probably only maybe 80 to 120 people present, when we see thousands of people protesting against vaccine passports or other things.
Oh my god.
I will say the difference is I think this is a recent event. Those if these protests continued for several weekends, the cameras will eventually fade away.
I'll get bored. Yeah, they'll get board.
Yes.
Things like that.
How many weeks have we been for protests for COVID? Oh my god.
That he says thousands. Like, come on. Like, granted, this isn't the hugest presence of people here, but I don't like.
No.
There's been like maybe a couple events in Alberta that I've seen in the thousands, but like regularly, no, I don't think.
Oh yeah.
There is no media coverage whatsoever. So an interesting observation from the event today.
An interesting observation.
Like, what's been the biggest like protest in Canadian history? And it's like you'll probably look into the order of like a few hundred to like a couple thousand. Like, it's not going to be like a huge amount of population going to it.
Is the pipeline on the juicy lips? Oh my God.
Here we go.
Then Chippy's gonna live forever.
I love this. I'm here for it.
Where is this protest that he's at again?
Alberta,
Calgary.
it's Calgary, yeah. Love this.
Okay.
This van was not digging it. Hyatt Infinity. Look, they left a number there in case you want to tell them, like, why were you honking at the protest? Because this sounds like an aggravated honk. I don't think it was a supportive honk.
So the protest.
Usually, if a supportive honk is like a beep, 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 that was more of a, I'm mad at you. Yeah.
Get off the road.
Has taken to the streets now. Traffic is being blocked. Folks are honking, a little bit annoyed. An interesting contrast to the freedom protests that take place on the weekend, where they cooperate with parade
the
police.
freedom protests get flipped off the bird. Oh my god.
Not only that, they take to the streets. There's tons of videos on Rebel. I even think there's been some with Adam where they've taken over streets. Like, the fact that they think that like for some reason the freedom rallies, those good old anti-vaccine, anti-mask people just not doing anything. They're constantly blocking shit. There was one that Drea Humphreys was at where they blocked a fucking ambulance at Vancouver Hospital.
Yeah.
Like, it's
the one we had. Oh, sorry.
No, it's just so annoying to me that it's like it would be one thing if their bullshit was like, you know, the anti-vaccine rallies were like 10 years ago and they could pretend like it never happened. But it's like this shit was happening like a couple weeks ago.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like all of a sudden, like, now the leftists or left-leaning groups are now taking the street on an issue you disagree with. And now all of a sudden we got to worry about the cars and shit. But like a week before that, it was all perfectly kosher and cool when like they were like taking over Canadian Tires and like blocking traffic.
Oh,
like,
jeez, yeah. Like, let's put it this way too. Like, imagine Extinction Rebellion going after a Canadian Tire or a Shell gas station. Like, if they did something like that, like just not even destroy it, just blocking it or something. Rebel be pissed off. Like, they'd be going at it forever.
Meanwhile, like, we have footage of when like Ezra was on the street with David Menzies and they were walking with Chris Sky and like just entering stores without masks, and like Chris Sky was like spitting in people's faces and they were telling him to get back 6 feet. Like, this happened like last summer. Like, it's not like this didn't
recent,
fucking
like,
happen.
recent,
And that was
yeah.
on Rebel and they screened it and we showed it on our fucking stream. Like, they do this shit all the time. And then what? They took over a street and walked down a few blocks? Oh my God, the horror. The horror.
Yeah. Oh, humanity.
Jesus Christ. I've been at those protests where anti-vaxxers were taking over Red Deer, Calgary, and also Edmonton. Did they ever block traffic, or were they so peaceful and innocent and just sung Kumbaya and held hands, Hildy? Also, I should take this moment, since Eric and Hildy are both here and both do streaming. You should go check out their channels. Big shiny takes for Eric, and Hildebeest is just Hildebeest. I enjoy both of their content.
BST earlier, but I'll do it again.
Well, the chat's one thing. I felt like we hadn't verbally announced it. I mean, even Grimpy Coffee, who's in the chat, does some streams too. I've only seen them do gaming streams though. But if that's your thing, you should go check it out.
I'm shouting out everybody.
Yeah, shout them all out.
Shouting out 2 cars.
I was giving back the
Actually,
love.
2 cars isn't even here.
Eric said that they've been loving it. So I wanted to spread that love.
And I love you, Eric.
All right, let's watch that.
And move their way through the streets without causing too much
one
hassle.
angry person.
Obviously, a pre-planned sort of thing. This a little bit more impromptu and unplanned takeover of the streets in downtown, guys.
Oh
no!
I love that rain sound. Hello, Hell Baby. Hello, everyone should go follow Bad Praxis. The Bad Praxis team. Greetings.
Hello, everybody.
We
Welcome,
love
Raiders.
We love us some Bad Praxis. It's been. I mean, you've rated us before, but it's often. I feel like you stream on every time I am unavailable to catch it. So, Aaron, Aaron, I think this is you. I feel like you're the Aaron from Twitter with the. Oh my god, I can't. Even though I have Hank Hill in our raid, our raid sound effect, for some reason I'm blanking on what Hank's son's name. Tommy? Bobby. Jesus, I don't know. My brain froze. Aaron, I think you're the one with the Bobby avatar on Twitter. Is this correct? Yes, I love your tweets. Show everyone your @ handle and tell people to go follow you because your tweets are hilarious. I love them. They're mostly you just put random face swaps and stuff. But I love every single one that you do, and I appreciate it. Yes, correct. Aaron is good. Aaron is great. I just find when I wake up in the morning and I get a good Aaron tweet, I appreciate it every time. So go follow that as well. There you go. @ Aaron _448. Sweet. And thank you everyone for rating. We're watching again. We're Imperial News. We mostly cover Rebel News. For those who haven't watched this before, Rebel News is a Canadian fascist media organization. You would know them for creating both Lauren Southern and Gavin McGuinness, who went on to create the Proud Boys. And they suck. So we watch them and critique them every Friday. We also stream on Monday and Wednesday, but we mix it up. Monday, we usually read left-wing political stuff or even about eels having sex for some reason. And on Wednesdays, we
still have that Salamander article.
We do still have the Salamander article about Salamander sex lives, so we can check that out. And then we also do just random political shit on Wednesday. So come. Not to mention Faith Goldie, yes, but Faith Goldie has kind of dropped off the map nom. So I know Bad Praxis is generally American, so they might not be familiar with Faith, or maybe they are. Faith Goldie is pretty shitty though. Rebel News is a grifter making machine. They really are. It's kind of depressing. But yeah.
What is this? Are you guys kidding me?
Oh, thanks for the follow, Aaron. Yeah, Faith Goldie, part of her thing too is she went on a Stormfront podcast. kind of like it was hard to come back from that. That's no longer dog whistling. You know what I mean? That is dogs screaming at the top of your lungs when you go on a Stormfront podcast. Go on a Stormfront podcast and then make fun of your boss who's Jewish, and you make fun of him because he's Jewish to a bunch of Nazis. Probably not the best look.
And then after that, she still came third in the race for mayor of Toronto.
It was a distant third, but yes.
Yeah, that's
yes.
the thing.
Yeah, it was distant, but it's still like third. You know?
Good to take note of that position. Yeah.
Yes, and so the video clip that we are watching right now is one of their newer reporters within the last year. They've got a whole bunch of new reporters. Well, I use reporter very loosely because this is not technically journalism. I think it's on that periphery of like, is it journalism? Is it not? It's usually just harassing in the form of journalism. But Adam here is covering a protest in Calgary in solidarity with the Wet'suwet'en. And if you're not sure what the Wet'suwet'en, who they are, that they're an indigenous territory in Canada that currently a pipeline is being built on their land. And the RCMP just raided them. And a lot of people are pissed off about it for obvious reasons. For example, their land is unceded. There's many reasons for what the government is doing is not legal or right, but they're sending the RCMP to terrorize them anyways. So that's why people are protesting in solidarity, and now they're reporting on it as if like, oh my God, they're blocking traffic. How dare these activists block traffic? And that's kind of where we're at. So we're going to continue watching it. And I think he's eventually going to get heckled, which is fun. I like when they get heckled. Here we go.
Down Calgary.
Downtown Calgary. I suck at my job.
Oh shit! Oh, get him!
Oh, that's so good.
Oh, I love that she knew who he was too. Like so. I love that.
Perfect. Oh,
Adam
man.
Soos of Rebel News. I fucking suck at my job.
You play that again? I like that.
I know. Oh, it's so good.
Oh my god.
Downtown Calgary.
Yeah.
I suck at my
Yeah, she's mocking him.
So we are
He's
once
doing
again
like
as a
cadence. Holy shit! I love it.
Oh, Jody, we gotta have you on again. We missed that laugh. Yeah, no, my laugh is involuntary, but I'm glad people appreciate it. And I would love to. We should have you on sometime, and you can you, Omni, and Bob, and I guess Ellie is now a part of you now. I think that's all of you, and you should all come on. Yeah, it'll be fun. That look of shame is wonderful. You know, that's fucking gold.
Just perfect. I love it.
As I mentioned, at the corner of 4th and 1st in Southwest Calgary here at the TC Energy Building. The group
Did you
has
just, like,
now
roll-
taken
like,
over the intersection.
carry
They're
on?
blocking.
This is the thing that I don't get, because they've done this a lot recently, and I'm not sure what it's like accomplishing, which is that they'll play them being heckled, and then they'll like smile about it, and then just move on without like acknowledging it. And it's like, why do you leave it in? Like, what purpose does that like? Like, I don't know
like,
if they think like, look at these idiots, or like, because like I remember there was the one video with Adam when he was at Without Papers Pizza, who were like refusing to enforce the vaccine mandate, mask mandate, and all that shit, right? And he was out there, and you had somebody not only come up and like heckle them, but give them like pointed criticisms of why their coverage on this is wrong, and they left it all in.
Yeah.
Don't understand it.
It's just so bizarre, yeah. But like, I guess like credit to him for like having it just like roll with it. Like that's an impressive skill to a certain extent.
Yeah, and have a good night, and thanks for lurking. Enjoy Fortnite. And everyone should follow Hellbaby on Twitter as well. They are also fun. They like to post about emo music because emo music is cool. And yes, they do want to feel persecuted, but like sometimes like what I can't imagine their audience feeling persecuted by that like heckle. Like that was just a good mock. You know what I mean? Like I don't know. I don't know what the what value there is to them for that. Not sure.
Just odd.
Traffic in all directions. Police are doing their best to get people through as they can. We don't know how long this is going to continue. Traffic has been stopped in a number of directions to avoid cars from intersecting with the protest here.
Build the pipe.
Extremely interesting. A number of people driving
he's a
by,
bike
and
slinger,
even biking
cyclist.
by, were chanting that it's time to build the pipeline, calling for this work to go ahead anyways. An interesting juxtaposition in the heart of oil country,
Cyclists are
next to all these
assholes.
head offices.
Whether cyclists
Sorry,
are
I-
assholes or not, it's more of just like, I mean, you're
It's
in
a
the
hot take
heart.
from you.
You're in the heart of Calgary, where like these oil, like they're protesting outside of the building of the people
Oh,
who
yeah,
are
yeah.
financing the pipeline. So it's like,
Yeah.
maybe that
There's
person
no
is an
likely-
employee of the company and is leaving to go home on his bike. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, for them to frame
Yeah.
it as if this is somehow like indicative of the population generally or some fucking thing. I love it if that person is an employee. That's even better. Perfect.
Where their wealth has been made off of oil. This protest taking place, and some Calgarians working in these buildings clearly opposed. We couldn't help notice that a few of the folks down here who would likely brand themselves as eco-activists
They brought
drove
plastic
and
in
parked
cars.
their gas vehicles right along beside us where we
Oh
parked.
my god, that's such an old trope.
They're the meme. They did the meme.
They
You
did
live
it.
in
Yay.
you live in a society.
meme.
How come you participate in that society? Fucking got him. Wrecked. All of this hypocrisy. The best part is this isn't a protest necessarily to say pipeline bad. It's to say pipeline through unceded indigenous territory against their will bad. You know. No.
Oh my god, yeah.
Not-
He used the wrong meme.
Now, granted, pipeline bad as well for the other reasons, but like this protest is clearly in solidarity with Wet'suwet'en, not I don't see a lot of signs saying we're doing this for like climate change. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Even though, like, look how this video is framed. It's even called "Climate Alarmism Takes Over an
Alarmism,
Environmentalist
yeah,
Protest
that's true.
Pipeline." So, you know, and it's like this isn't an environment. Like, there's element of environmentalism that intersects with this protest, right? But it's clear that this is a solidarity rally with Wet'suwet'en. Hence the giant banner that says Wet'suwet'en strong on it, and the "We stand with Wet'suwet'en." And this other sign that says "We stand with Wet'suwet'en." Like, this is not
Big letters, big signs. It's right there. They wrote it down for you.
Yeah.
Come on, Soos. Do your job.
We don't talk to them.
They're just filming me and just learning, not filming me.
Yeah, I
I
don't.
don't care. We're just not talking to them.
I would love to talk to you.
Yeah, I know who that is.
Go f- yourself. Seriously.
I love
it.
this person. This A plus Academy Award to that person.
I think
Best
I know
person.
that face, but yeah, she's got it right.
Yeah.
Fuck 'em.
And how did they make those signs? That's right, with their car.
Shit.
Aren't they aware they're wearing clothes right now? And those clothes were manufactured in a building which produced, that's right, greenhouse gases.
Yes.
Checkmate. They should, if they were being non-hypocritical, sincere protesters in favor of the environment, they should all be nude right now in the cold outside of these buildings. And they should have walked here in the cold, in the nude, with no signs, because that also infects the environment. So they have to like use hand signals, do charades. They have to do naked charades in the cold. That is the only true, and not produce any like effluent. So no farting, because that would also contribute to global warming. They have to stand there, hold it all within. So they have to be both nude, constipated, and playing charades in the cold in order for this to be a non-hypocritical, sincere protest.
I
That's the
think
only
they
way.
should just burn down the city like some good communists.
Wait, Vienna,
Uh,
the whole city?
Yes.
Wait, which city is this?
Calgary.
Come on, give us the name of it. No. Oh
Mm,
shit!
Calgary.
it's one of those cities,
Yeah,
you
it's one of
know?
those cities that got burned
One of
down
those
by
cities with the
communists.
communists in it.
Yeah.
I'm going to guess that it reifies their sense of superiority because they don't see it as a dressing down. All they see is a triggered liberal heckler foaming at the mouth. Ergo, anything they say is not injurious to their sense of self. Yeah, that's possibly true, yeah.
Mhm.
And is in fact a reinforcement of their beliefs in righteousness. I think of it more in terms of like the first half of what you're saying, which is kind of like it feeds into that like own the libs mentality. Like they can just be like, look at them, we triggered them, man. Look, they're so upset with us, man. Oh my god, we got them. Fucking got them, we triggered them. And that's how they can play it off. I think usually that's what might serve their purpose of leaving that in. Be like, yeah, we really got to them.
Are now moving through various intersections in downtown Calgary, causing quite a bit of chaos, vehicles being turned around. There's no real order as we see at protests normally. They're kind of going where they go, and police are doing their very best to accommodate and redirect traffic as the protest moves.
Yep, it's a protest.
Protesting is a fun.
Was there any marching today, Vienna, or was it just standing around?
It was just standing around.
Shitty.
Yeah.
I mean, it's cold. It should move a little bit.
Yeah, no, it was really cold by the end of it.
Yeah.
I had to undo one level of my jeans being rolled up. That's how cold it was.
Brutal. I haven't pulled my mitts out of the box of our like, you know, winter gear. And I guess because of how it like sort of like snow rained this morning, melted a little bit and then snowed again, when I went to go pick up my son at school, I couldn't get his side of the sliding door open, and I had to use my fingers to sort of like pry a bit of the like the door away from the ice, and my fingers fucking hurt. Bare cold on ice fingers trying to pry a metal door loose so I can open it.
Yeah, that does suck.
And then the whole time was just like fucking cold.
I had to like walk a good like 10 blocks afterwards to get to the bus stop, so like it was chilly.
And this is Calgary, so I'm guessing it's colder.
Yeah, probably. Although I don't know what the fuck is going on in that area, you know? Maybe the oil burning heats it up.
Yeah.
Oh shit!
Oh my god. I'm wearing my scarf inside and outside. You know what was funny? Like I was watching something today where some guys in Detroit on their like YouTube channel wearing like a parka almost. And I'm like, I literally saw not this morning, I think it was like yesterday morning. Some guy was dropping off his child at my son's school wearing a Hawaiian t-shirt and like jean shorts. And I'm just like, what are you doing? And then not only that, so that was him. And then I saw a woman in like a skirt with sandals. And I'm like, what? What is wrong? And it was raining yesterday. It was cold rain. My wife is like the Hawaiian. So my wife drove our son this morning, and she says that guy was out there again today. The Hawaiian shirt dude. I don't get it.
He was manifesting warmth.
Yeah. Well, honestly, that was the first thought that crossed my head, was that the guy was like, I'm just going to dress like this and I will become warmth.
Oh, you're only -3 right now over there. What the hell are you talking about? That's kind of mild.
Like where we are right now?
It feels like it was like -9. It was cold.
And it was windy too. Like there was a bit of a wind chill.
I'm -13 where I'm at right now, but yeah, it's finally feeling more like winter. We finally got snow the other day, or last night.
Is -3 Hawaiian t-shirt and jean shorts weather?
Yes.
For a short amount of time, yes.
I wore shorts to the grocery store today and got chirped by a stranger.
Hey.
The solution to being cold is just to not be cold.
Sure.
Like,
To be fair, too,
that's
like
it.
I run hotter too, so I guess I'm all right with the cold.
Yeah, exactly, right? Like, you just don't do it.
I just don't care about it. It's all right.
Eric providing a public service. I saw a guy in Calgary in January wearing shorts one time and yelled at him from my car. I had a neighbor growing up that all winter long, this dude would walk his dog in his fucking shorts all winter. I
I
never
was that
understood.
dude in high school.
Can't understand that. So cold. I like
If
the
it
cold. I
got
don't
down to
mind
like
being
minus
like
30, then I would be getting like, you know, some jackets and whatever. But I walked to school, and by 5 or 10 minutes in there, like, you're sweating so much that like it's worse to have things on you, it feels like.
Eric's comment. It was completely involuntary. I said, "You're not special." Oh my
Oh,
god.
jeez.
If you have a good coat and hat, shorts are all good. What is
No.
going on? None of this makes any
Wearing a
sense.
coat, hat, and shorts? That's where I draw the line, Mita.
No, I've done that before.
Oh my god.
Granted, not for long, but yeah.
Yeah. Oh my god. I don't even know.
Actually,
I
look.
have nothing to comment on this conversation. Just for the
Jeans,
weather,
t-shirt, and a
people.
hat.
I don't know if it was because I was raised by a scout leader. My mom,
I
who
mean,
was
I
a
did
scout
scouts
leader, was
too,
like,
but,
"Be
I didn't
prepared."
care.
When I was I was so into scouts with my mom that we went to a camp once where I slept outside in the winter in like a makeshift igloo thing that we made, and it was
Yeah.
fucking cold.
Oh, you did that. We did outdoor like tent camping in the winter too.
I think the option was to do the tent or build the igloo thing, and we did the igloo thing. We're like, fuck it, we're taking a risk, because the worry is that it could collapse because we're amateur people who just built this like makeshift igloo.
Or even just like the type of snow you got too.
Yeah, we did it. I slept in the snow.
Oh,
I slept
fair.
right in the
See?
fucking snow.
Fair enough.
Jody, you had the scout leader mother. I had a Finnish father.
Yeah.
The solution was just don't be cold.
But I remember, I think we like went to bed, like we filled up hot water like pouches, and had those in our sleeping bags. Is walking dog in shorts during winter equals cryotherapy and zootherapy at the same time? Yes. Yes. True.
True.
I did the tent winter camp once. It was negative 23 degrees Celsius. Fuck that. Yes. No, I remember it was freezing. I think you did it like a couple years before me. Box will remember, it's my brother. I think we went to the same. It was the same camp, but different times when this happened, I think. Because he's older than I am. I did not do the igloo, but my troop dug out a snowbank. There. All right, let's finish this off here. Enough with the cold. Now I'm starting to feel the cold air radiate from the outside.
Fundamental right for Canadians, for Albertans, but those protests typically should be respectful of infrastructure, not blocking off roadways, not blocking off public
Oh, wait a
transit.
minute. Oh
That
my
is
God.
what this protest is doing, and unfortunately police are not intervening. It's similar to some of the protests that we have seen out at these pipelines that have been so hotly contested.
Fuck. Yeah,
Just gotta highlight the person flipping off right over his shoulder.
I've seen way too many times like rebel viewers where they'll be like, "I want to run over these protesters," but like the second like their protesters are like mentioned, like, "Oh, maybe a car should like just like go through, not hit them, but like just go through like slowly." They're like, "No, no, 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 that's manslaughter or attempted manslaughter."
Well, no, again, and it's like, I mean, Two Cars raises the great point here. Unless you're protesting vaccines, then you can block hospitals. Like, that's it.
Yeah,
They've been promoting the same shit that they've done. And again, this would have been trying to find the clip. This would have been the November before the November before the pandemic hit. So this would have been 2019. And we have a clip that I always love to bring up, which is Ezra being like, why not? Why not run over? So back in November, it was the same issue, Wet'suwet'en, but people around Canada were blocking rail infrastructure, and this is what Ezra had to say about this.
That's what I
So-
remember now.
Here, let's play the clip. I don't know if you'll be able to hear it, but the stream will be able to hear it.
Mhm.
But I think one day
It's going to be really quiet.
an ordinary citizen won't be so friendly, won't be so.
I got enough volume.
One second, you gotta not talk because it's really quiet.
Okay.
I'll let you know when it's done.
All right.
But I think one day an ordinary citizen won't be so friendly, won't be so peaceful, won't be so good Samaritan-ish, and might throw a punch or use a stick to hit, or God forbid, a gun, or just drive over a road barrier and drive on someone. And I don't want that to happen, and I wouldn't support it if it happened, but I could understand it if it happened, because as part of a community, as part of a country, there's a social contract. We give the monopoly of violence to the government, to the police, and we expect them to protect us all. And if they sit in their police cars having a cup of coffee instead of enforcing the law, why not? If it's the rule of the jungle, if it's the law of the jungle, why not?
Why? Why not? Why not? Great advice
Law of
from
the
Ezra. Why,
jungle.
why not? Why not? Just run over people. Why not? Why not?
I didn't hear any of that.
Jeez.
You didn't hear any of it? Yeah, no, it's really quiet.
No.
But
It was I opened in a Twitch window.
the basics of what was said there was, if there is a blockade and the police aren't doing anything about it, then why don't people just run over people, or shoot them, or hit them with a stick, or punch them?
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
I just know that's something similar to like the Suzuki line where it's like he's not saying explicitly like that'll happen. It's like this will happen. Or no, sorry, not. It's not a threat of violence, but it's more of a case of like if it happens because of like the frustration.
Yeah, but it's like, because he can't.
And
I
I'm
mean,
saying
like,
it's- yeah.
I'm not going to say that he definitely would support it,
No,
because
I was
he'd
saying, like, it's
probably
similar,
sue
but
me if I gave him that much credit. But like he even if he wanted that to happen, he can't say it. It has to be like passive, like, well, it might happen, and if it happens, I understand it. Which it fits into even the Kyle Rittenhouse shit, which is just like, well, if things happen, then it's self-defense and it's blah blah blah. You know what I mean? Like, when it's like, no, like what you're doing is priming your audience
Oh yeah.
to be in a mood where they might fucking drive over a protest. Where it's like, don't even fucking hint to that, you asshole. Like, don't even
Also,
say, like, why not? Like, don't fucking use that language.
I might be misremembering it, but I'm pretty sure there was like some people like struck with cars during these the previous like the 2019 2018 protests.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
Well, they had the first time Ezra said something like this had to do with a car that almost ran over union protesters or union strikers in Alberta. I can't remember what it was for. Gas workers? I think it was gas workers. And a car almost ran them over. And he's like, well, I can understand. If people decide to do it, I can understand. And good night, Muta. And yes, Ezra will definitely talk on the show Space Talking with Megan McCain, for sure. And I didn't, for those who are like, Space Talking, what's up? I was going to play the clip of what you're talking about, but I might wait till the part 2 comes out, because he said he was going to do a part 2. This has to do with the serfs, and I'll let I mean, you probably have already seen the clip, or if you haven't, be surprised when I inevitably show it to you, because it's silly. It's just a fun little silly thing. But there might be a part 2, so I'm going to wait.
And we get some more chippies in the chat as a good night to Muta.
And yes, it was Unifor co-op gas strikers. That was definitely the first clip. I have 2 of them saved, because like it was the fact, like, every time he says something that's anything close to that, I save it for posterity. So think the only other time when he got really violent was with the turkey farm protest. I'll never forget that. It was like the first one of the first few shows we did, and there was these vegan activists that took over a turkey farm. And Ezra was like, if one of them came on my property, I would have to go get my gun, you know?
Does Ezra even own a gun?
I don't know.
Jeez. Oh my god.
Yeah.
These sort of problems
again, the middle finger over his shoulder.
in court and resolved with
Oh, yeah.
conversations,
Oh my god,
not
I just
blocking off
noticed that
streets and
legit.
keeping people from getting
That's
home
perfect.
to their families.
Oh my god, why are they keeping this shit?
It's pretty wild.
How so?
I called you
Oh
a
my God.
fascist. Why? Because you are. Love it. Top tier.
A sentiment as simple as I encourage people to protest, but they shouldn't block key infrastructure can garner hatred, middle fingers, allegations that I'm a fascist. When the anti-vaccine mandate crowd, the pro-choice crowd, comes out and they don't block infrastructure, but they're outside of hospitals, mainstream media and everyone and their dog is keen to...
They're outside hospitals. Yeah, and what happened when they were outside the hospitals? Hey there, Adam?
Blocking the hospitals. Oh no.
I mean, it's not only like the blocking of the hospitals. Like, I remember back when the Black Lives Matter rallies were happening, everyone was like, oh, they're going to block ambulances from getting places if they take over roads, and it's going to cause all this chaos. Meanwhile, like, then all of a sudden these anti-vaccine rallies start happening and they're blocking ambulances from getting to hospitals.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's
no.
like crickets.
Yeah. But now again, you got to worry about it again because it's now a left-wing protest again. So you got to speak up. These people hate the oil companies. Yeah.
Criticize them for the grave risk they're posing to society. When these groups do it, no one dares raise a finger.
No one dare raise a finger, but I mean, if it happens, why not? I understand it might happen, and who knows? Why not? Might as well. Who cares? Yeah, go fuck yourself.
Not that I know like Calgary's roads by the back of my hand, but like, is this one even blocking like a main thoroughfare in the city? Like,
I mean, it's some part of the downtown core, but who gives a shit? Like shut the fuck up.
Well, that's the thing. Is like you could block a street or two in downtown, like whatever downtown city, but it's like it'll affect traffic for that area.
I don't know. It's just like
it's also not
boo.
gonna be like.
Boo fucking who? You were delayed from getting home a little bit. Oh.
But even the news, like if ambulances need like get through, it's like there's usually like concessions for that kind of shit. For like a lot of times it'll happen with protests. They'll stop everything they'll do and let that go through.
But this is the same bullshit about like Andrew saying like you need to do more. You need to knock on doors or whatever. But this is like an element of it where it's like. Your protest, if you're blocking traffic, you're gonna get a lot more attention than if you just sit in a room where no one sees you. You know what I mean? So it's like, get over it. And hello, person. I don't know who that person is. I'm afraid if I search it, it's probably a fascist, and then we could just block you right away. I missed Matlock because people are expressing solidarity, and I will have my vengeance. Oh my god. Vienno, you want to search that, Dave?
Yeah, I'm doing that.
A couple of years ago, I was at Black Lives Matter protests in Red Deer. Rebel Media was hanging out with Sons of Odin and Proud Boys. It does not surprise me.
Oh yeah, they were.
I do have a pubic beard. What do you want? Am I good, bro? I'm pretty good. Pretty good. You're going to continue. I think it's at the end anyways here.
A glaring double standard. Once again, no doubt the media will refuse to say anything critical about this, despite infrastructure being blocked, while on the other hand, they are eager to criticize any other protesters who dare take to the streets. The event is wrapping up aside
But again,
from
like, I love like how all context is out of this. It's like, why do you think we would support this protest, but not a protest against vaccines? What might be the operative thing that differs between those two things, right? This is a protest against colonization and also against the idea that we should just constantly expand our fossil fuel infrastructure at the detriment of the planet, right? So that's this protest. The other one is to deny the science behind vaccinations. I don't know, maybe.
Let's like okay, yeah. Like, I'm not disagreeing with you there too. It's like let's put it in terms that like Soos here can understand. It's like there's a gas company that wants to put a pipeline through not just your property but like your neighbor's property, like your neighborhood, and your neighborhood gets to have a vote or say or whatever, like whatever it wants to agree to. But like you have a chunk of land that you don't want, and like let's say you have the biggest section of land and you don't want that pipe going through. Do you not have a say or something?
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm kind of losing my thought on that.
No, I mean it's all this is stupid. I was a little distracted because I banned that asshole in the chat.
Oh, fair. Yeah. Okay. Bye.
I was trying to like type his name with my mic the way it's placed. It was a little annoying, but yeah. Don't again. No need to spread fucking anti-science in the thing. Again, here's the thing: is we block anti-science, but then we allow people to post pro-scientific things. I wonder why. What could be the difference? These things are not the same. Who would it? What? How? Wow. Whoa. How?
Cody, you're supposed to let us post anti-science shit whenever we want.
Part of me is like, I wish, or not. I don't actually wish this, but it's there's like a fascination with just like how simple these people's brains are that they can think this is like a good. We got him, we fucking got him. You know what I mean? What you protest and then everyone's all like cool with it, but when we protest, everyone's bad with it. What are you, a bunch of hypocrites? And like totally like. Why don't you actually focus on why we might actually accept the one and not the other? Maybe there's a good reason for that.
I'm a science shill, yeah. Yes, I'm a shill for science. Big science.
Yeah, big science.
We already have our like I am the token anti-science person here. Like I've already come out in a lot. I hate clocks.
You know, what do you think about dowsing?
Pardon?
What do you think about dowsing?
It's real. We have a whole command about it.
Yeah, there we go. Let's do it.
Right. So I'm going to come over your place. Oh shit, no.
Yeah, we know.
We got problems.
Vienna is not against oil infrastructure. They are just in favor of finding it with a dowsing rod rather than drilling.
Yeah.
Okay, fair. Okay,
you can transport it. You can't transport it by pipeline because that's also science. You have to like scoop it in your mouth and then walk it to where you want to go and spit it out into whatever you're trying to use the oil for.
What is this? Ha! It's poetry in motion. She turned her tender eyes. Oh, is this blinded me with science? Yeah, okay. It failed me in biology. Okay, there's like literally 2 seconds from this.
Traffic being blocked at a few intersections. There were no major incidents, and we are wrapping up for the evening. As always, I want to thank you all for tuning in. For Rebel
thank you,
News.
Adam. Thank you.
Adam Soos.
Oh, I'm so. I needed.
For
Thank you.
updating us on that boring time you had, and being flipped off a few times.
Yeah. Oh my God. What clowns?
Hello, my rebels. Hello, my rebels. I'm a good boy. I'm a weirdo.